1570 AM, and W298BX 107.5 FM, Winterville, North Carolina.
Good day, everyone. Welcome to the Police Report Show. The Police Report Show was created to keep the public informed and to build and maintain a positive relationship with the community. WBIS LP 106.9 FM, Winterville, Ayden, Grifton, Southside, Greenville, North Carolina. Outside the listening area, tune in on WBISAwesomeRadio.org.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Police Report First Responder Show here on Awesome Radio, 107.5 FM, 1570 AM, WECU. Joining me is Muhammad Enab, who will be doing cybersecurity information. So I'm going to start by saying what are some frequently questions asked. And this is directly from the Pitt County Sheriff's Office website. What is the difference between a police department and a sheriff's office? Both police department and sheriff's office have the same legal authority to enforce the criminal and traffic laws. Both law enforcement agencies have the powers to arrest and the power to issue citations. Police departments are traditionally formed to protect municipalities, although some counties have formed police departments as well. Sheriffs hold constitutional offices, and their offices have a few requirements that the police department does not. In North Carolina, sheriffs are mandated to serve civil processes, manage the county detention centers, and provide court security, whereas police departments do not. Sheriff's office responsibility is maintaining the sex offender registry and its authority to issue guns and concealed carry permits. And so there is quite a big difference. As it said, the sheriff's office is responsible for civil citations, and these are related to property, whereas police departments don't have that authority. So if you was to get evicted, it would be the sheriff's office that would come to your door with the eviction notice from the court, not the police department. The police department, all they can arrest you having a warrant for child support, but the sheriff's office have the ultimate responsibility for that child support. They oversee all those different things, so that's why they have a civil issues as well as criminal and traffic laws. And I want to see what Muhammad have right now on cybersecurity. Muhammad.
I've recently found out. I found out recently there's been data breaches exposes details of thousands of customers. Financial giant is offering free identity monitoring services to anyone affected. The investment has confirmed the suffering of data breaches, which a hacker or a scammer stole sensitive information of 10,000s of people. The company revealed the news happened on between August 17th or August 19th, 2024. Threat actors used two recently established customers' accounts to access the company's infrastructures, which they detected is activity on August 19th and immediately took steps to terminate the access. The company said in a letter an investigation was remotely launched with assistance from external security experts. The investigation determined that the crooks obtained information related to a small subset of Fidelity customers and did not access anyone's account.
Yeah, that's good information. But one day I want you to come together with me and do some research on what is a DLL, a dynamic link library. I know last week you said you weren't familiar with that, but a dynamic link library is in all software. And like for instance, I had to install a software one time. It said if I install this software, it was going to cause this other program to stop working because they shared the DLL. The dynamic link library piggybacks off other software so that other software can work. I don't really know why they do that, but that's what it is. Mohammed?
Well, it's like saying this: if your phone is full of data like images and stuff, your phone's gonna slow down, and you're gonna have to try to delete some of the images. You can even delete the images on on your text messages, so that way you can save up spaces. But if it's too much, your device will slow down, and it could cause a virus, maybe.
Yeah, not only that, I know one thing that uses a lot of space on your laptop or computer is images and videos and audio. The audio, if it's a WAV file, the video, if it's a anything other than M4A or MP4, if it's an AVI, that's taking up a lot of space. Just like the audio file, WAV file, takes up a lot of space. This guy had bought his laptop over to my house. I was gonna put some software on it, but before I did, I checked his drive to see what the operating system was and to see how much space he had available. When I looked at the space, the whole thing was lit up red with no space available at all. I said, well, what do you have on this computer? He said, I have a lot of photos because he's a photographer. I said, you need an external drive to put the photos on and not your main drive on your computer. He was using the C drive for all that. It just took away all the space. He got an external drive and the whole thing turned blue. The C drive turned blue with all the space available because he removed all those images.
There's also another thing. Even if you install the software, they have some updates, which you'll always keep updating, adding more stuff, and it'll take up more spaces. Like a game I play on my mobile phone, the more it always updates pretty much monthly, and the more it takes up too much space. So I'm gonna have to find another way to get get a new phone or a new device to hold up the game because it's too much it's just too much. Like it's like 25 gigabytes if it takes. So,
Yeah. I'm going now to another question that was posted on the sheriff's office website. What do you do to help kids in our county? We strive to gain the respect and trust of our county's children. We speak often at youth groups and schools, teach the DARE program, provide school resources officers in our school system, and frequently monitor youth. We have 2 deputies who hold offices on the board of directors of the North Carolina DARE Officers Association. We also encourage with our youth through events such as trunk or treats, parades, dances, parties, festivals, and other community events. If you know someone that has done that, excuse me. If I knew something someone has done that is wrong, how can I help to report it without getting in trouble? You may call the sheriff's office or email the sheriff's office. One stop of our deputies to chat to remain anonymous by by reporting it to the Crime Stoppers at 252-758-7777 or go online www.p3tips.com or on the P3T Tips phone app. They also have an app for that. Mohammed? All right, well, just for a second, while Mohammed look at this document, go ahead.
Which page?
Yeah. I don't know which one. All right, so I want to mention one other thing while Mohammed looking for some stuff. Do you send patches or other memorabilia to collectors? And the sheriff's office response to that was, due to security concerns, we do not typically send patches or other memorabilia to collectors. If you feel a special needs circumstances applies, you can certainly contact us and explain your needs. And I'm glad they put that on it because I know a lot of police agencies They do send their dispatches to other police departments, not so much collectors, but they send them to other police departments. They maintain a display on a wall or somewhere with all the other agencies' patch or emblem. I even have seen that here in North Carolina at one of the highway patrol offices. They had a display of all police departments locally and across the state and other states as well, including New Jersey State Police. And I do know one thing off the top of my head. When it comes to the New Jersey State Police, unlike a lot of other jurisdictions and municipalities, they do not want their patch displayed anywhere. I know a guy that made a patch, of New Jersey State Police patch. They raided his house, took everything out of the house, anything that resembled the state police patch. Mohammed.
I've also found the app. P3 Intel is the next generation of multi-lingual tip management system, allowing the public to submit a secure and anonymous tip to Crime Stoppers program and law enforcement agencies with complete confidence.
Yeah. Say that one more time.
It's an Intel that it's a next generation of multilingual tip management system, allowing the public to submit secure and anonymous tips, so that way no one can know who you are. If some hacker or scammer trying to target you, who of the tips you sent out, and the Crime Stop. It also shows that Crime Stoppers and law enforcement agencies to be aware of it with confidence.
Yeah. I got a question for you. I just thought about this. All right. As far as generations go, then we're in Generation Z. That's the last letter of the alphabet. When we pass Generation Z, what will they go to?
Well, that's a good question. I'd say it's hard to say because the years change. Things have not been secure these days. Also, everyone, be advised. There might be some people. I've seen news that people have been like police just came into your house without a warrant. If they don't show you a warrants paper, that means they're not police officers. They're just trying to pull. They're probably trying to pull a fast one on you. I've seen, on TikTok, I've still had some people posted on TikTok. Some guys wearing fake police officer, fake badges. Be on the lookout. Those guys, if they don't show you a warrant, then you have to call the real police about it and have them informed by the real names of the whoever it is who contacted them. If those police officers that don't have warrants, they're just probably trying to scam you, or probably trying to someone else try to take you guys out for because you know too much. They probably take down witnesses. There are those who take out witnesses these days.
Yeah, Mohammed, that's great information. Also, ladies and gentlemen, when I read that last question, it mentioned the Pitt County Crime Stoppers. So I want to go right directly to one individual document that I have on the Pitt County Crime Stoppers. Pitt Greenville Crime Stoppers, 82924. Pitt Greenville Crime Stoppers. The Pitt County Sheriff's Office partners with a private, nonprofit organization, Pitt Greenville Crime Stoppers, to involve citizens in solving and preventing crimes. There are some things and ways that you can help. You can help in 3 ways to make a crime stopper tip. Call the tip line at 252-758-7777 to speak to a live operator. So when you call that number, you will speak to a live operator. Go online to www.crimestopper.org. Use the P3T Tips smartphone app available at your app store and the Crime Stoppers website. So when you make a tip to the Pitt County, to the Pitt Greenville Crime Stopper, the Crime Stoppers itself, you can remain anonymous and you could possibly receive a reward for the information that you provide. So you're helping law enforcement in a tremendous way by helping to solve and stop a crime. Mohammed.
As people know, how do we know these apps are secure? Are they secure? Are they legitimately secure? Like nobody will be able to be contacted?
That's a good question.
I mean, because think about it. If they set themselves anonymous, but they have to log in, do they have to use their emails? I mean, there are websites that lets you have to type in your emails to get information. So what if so if that's the case, how do we know that there isn't a third party who's trying to hack into someone's system and see their email account and maybe track their address?
I think they might have a way that all that stuff is encrypted so that none of that stuff is revealed. That's why they suggest you call. You can make an anonymous call. That way, your phone number might be blocked. It might just display your phone number. So I'm pretty sure they have a lot of steps to make it secure for you.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Anything else on that? But that is a valid question. How do you maintain anonymous? Like I said, I'm pretty sure they have some ways to make that happen. So we have 4 minutes to go before we go to our first break. And I know Muhammad has some information on this as well as myself. That is the Pitt County Sheriff's presented with Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award. Pitt County Sheriff Paula Dance was honored over the weekend by President Biden with the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award, which is the highest honor among the President's Volunteer Service Awards program. So congratulations goes out to Sheriff Paula Dance for that. There's 2 or 3 more paragraphs. I'm asking Muhammad if he will read those 2 or 3 paragraphs before we go out to the break.
The program recognizes the important role of volunteers behind American strength and national identity, and awarded honors individual whose services positively impacts communities and inspires those around them to take action. Sheriff Dance was presented the awarded in recognition of her more than 30 years of service within the law enforcement professions and her groundbreaking innovation as a sheriff of Pitt County. The sheriff's office says some of those programs include the sheriff's heroin addiction recovery program, known as SHARP, and women's empowerment and recovery program, known as WARE, to provide education, therapy, and other benefits to imitate of Pitt County Detention Center.
Hey, Muhammad, I'm just looking good. I'm looking for another document. So we have 2 minutes before we go to the first break. I'm looking for a document on the Pitt County non-emergency numbers. So while I look for this document, if you would grab a pen and paper, you could probably jot down some of these numbers once I can locate it. I would like to give out some non-emergency numbers so that way you won't have to necessarily dial 911 if it's not emergency. At least you'll have the non-emergency number to call rather than just calling 911 because they're really cracking down on that. Some things are not an emergency. That doesn't require you to call 911. So let me look for this document and give you some of these non-emergency numbers. We have 1 minute to go before we go to the break. I want to see if Muhammad have anything for that 1 minute while I look for this document.
Be advised, if a scammer try to call you at the same number or email or social media, try to contact you for money, be advised they don't. Not if it's the same account, he's probably in some serious debt or getting greedy, or pretty much desperate. So that means if he wants more money, that means he's getting desperate. He needed money because he was in some serious debt. So they might try to target some people because they might target other people, but not the same people because they know they can't fool them anymore because they know who they are. But not many people would know it. So it's best you give them information through social media to be advised to look out from in case the account is hacked or an imposter.
Yeah, we're gonna keep it locked right here. So one thing I want to mention is I go back to that question. do the sheriff's office give out patches to collectors. As I mentioned, they prefer not to do that because of security issues. And as I stated, I know there's a lot of agencies that do that. I was at a state police barrier, and they did that. So, ladies and gentlemen, keep it locked right to Awesome Radio, 107.5 FM, 1570 AM, WECU. Back in a moment.
Emerge Conference 2024, October 17th through the 19th at Victory Christian Assembly, presented by Dr. Bridget Newton, 4748 Stantonsburg and Munzingo Road, Greenville. There will be morning sessions and evening sessions October 17th through the 19th. For more information, dial 888-869-0559. That's 888-869-0559. Emerge Conference, presented by Dr. Bridget Newton, October 17th through the 19th at Victory Christian Assembly, 4748 Stantonsburg and Munzingo Road, Greenville.
Hello, my name is Daniel from Greenville. We appreciate you for listening to Awesome Radio, 107.5 FM, 1570 AM, WECU Radio in Greenville.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Police Report First Responders Show. You are still tuned into Awesome Radio, 107.5 FM, 1570 AM, WECU. As we were going out to the break, I was asking if you would just jot down, you grab a paper and a pen or pencil and jot down some of these non-emergency numbers that I'm going to read out to you. But in addition to just writing it down, if you don't have time to do that or don't have a paper or pencil, you can always email me at glennjohnsonshow@gmail.com, and I will provide the leads to you. I'll forward it to your email. So, what is the Pitt County Sheriff's Office phone number? That number is 252-902-2800. Located in the Pitt County Courthouse, but as you know, they're relocated to a brand new building. So at some point, it would no longer be in the courthouse. It would be 100 Hope Road over near the Pitt County other office complexes, near Government Circle, near Highway 33 and Memorial Drive. So they'll be over there, 100 Hope Road, near the detention center. So keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. And they have now, you can walk in the front door. They have several customer service windows where you can go right up to the window for all your needs. So I just wanted to let you know about that. Mama, you have anything?
I do not so far. Oh, there is one thing. Be sure not to, be advised, every time AI involves like AI alerts, don't believe it all the time. Those things are not very accurate these days. There could be think about it. They're probably set on default to just jump into conclusions these days. Some people just to worry people. If it is legit, call the people about it and tell them if it's really like credit card alert, anything suspicious activity. It's just call them, and they will see if anything needs suspicious activities. If they say everything's all good, that means it's just a default that these AIs are programmed these days. None of these are legit anymore.
Yeah, and before we go to the break in 7 minutes, let me go to the Winterville Police Department. Their non-emergency number, 252-756-1105. The Aden Police Department, 252-481-5844. The Grifton Police Department is 252-524-4161. And let me see if I have the what's that town over there? I got the short list. But Lenore County, I just want to point something out that I know to be factual. Sometimes an incident occur in Lenore County, but you might be on the border of Pitt County. So while you think you might be in Lenore County, you might actually be in Pitt County. And therefore, the Pitt County Sheriff's Office is responsible for what occurred and not Lenore County Sheriff's Office. So I want you to keep that in mind too, folks. So, Muhammad, you have anything else before we go to the break?
No, sir.
All right. I thought I had the whole full document. Unfortunately, I don't have it. So, anyway, if you email me, I will make sure that you get the entire document that lists all the departments, their emergency contact number, their address, and the website to go to. So, ladies and gentlemen, Muhammad, you still have that document on Sheriff Dance being awarded the presidential honor. Yeah, let me have that. I'll give it back to you in a second. I'll read the top part again, give you the last 3 paragraphs. All right, so Pitt County Sheriff's Office Paula Dance was honored over the weekend by President Joe Biden with the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award, which is the highest honor among President's Volunteer Service Awards program. And already there have been a number of posts on Facebook, Twitter, and so on the Sheriff's Office social media platform congratulating the Sheriff on that wonderful achievement. I think it's a great honor and a privilege to have received that award. What say you, Mohammed?
I'd say it's really impressive. Because the program is recognizing an important role of volunteer behind American strength and national identity, and the award honors individuals whose service positively impacts the community and inspires those around them to take action. Sheriff Dance was presented an award in recognition of her more than 30 years of service within the law enforcement profession and her groundbreaking innovations as a sheriff of Pitt County. The Sheriff's Office says some of the programs includes the Sheriff's Heroin Addiction Recovery Program, known as SHARP, and Women's Empowerment and Recovery Program, also known as WARE, to provide education, therapy, and other benefits to inmates of Pitt County detention centers.
Yeah. Also, one of the document that I have frequently asked questions residents on the Pitt County Sheriff's Office webpage. I'm going to go down to number 2. Here is a link to the Pitt County Animal Service Ordinance. There's an actual ordinance for animal services here in Pitt County. Typically, the Animal Service Ordinance will not handle dog situation if it's just a situation of barking as a nuisance. Sometimes animal situations are much broader than that thought. If you are having an animal concern, please consider reviewing the ordinance to see if anything applies in your situation. If you need to call the animal control during regular hours, their number is 252-902-1725. And just going to the next paragraph, if you need to speak to it with a deputy to get further assistance on the problem, or have questions or need answers, or to file a complaint, please feel free to call 252-830-4141 anytime, 24/7, 24 hours a day. And they'll be glad to take care of your situation. So there's a lot of ordinance that people always constantly forget about. So whether it's local laws, state laws, criminal laws, and things of that nature, you also have to be mindful and aware of ordinances. A lot of jurisdictions, municipalities, city, or town have a lot of ordinances that need to be applied by the residents. Muhammad?
There's been a lot of complaints for the citizens across Pitt County, complaints It comes from as a result of parties, loud music without parties, fireworks, shooting of weapons, revving of engines, working on cars, dog barking, and many other reasons.
Yeah.
They will gladly have a deputy speak with you to evaluate your situation to see what can they do, what can be done to assist them, and they will glad to come out to the area and investigate the disturbance. And if you want their communication, feel free to call them at 252-830-4141 anytime, any day, 24/7 to request assistance with this problem. In the meantime, there's a link of Pitt County noise ordinance, local law enforcement, and guidance. What is and that guides what is and what is not legal, what can be and what can be done.
Yeah, as we go out to the break, I just want to say that firing guns is a very high priority one because you can just not fire a gun thinking that, it's not going to harm anybody because that bullet has to go up and land somewhere. And the last thing you want to do is fire a gun and it lands on somebody and kills them. So consider that. Do not fire no gun in the air for any reason whatsoever. If you have no reason to fire that weapon, do not fire it. That is a high priority situation right there. Ladies and gentlemen, keep it locked right here to Awesome Radio, 107.5 FM, 1570 AM, WECU. Back in a moment, ladies and gentlemen, to the Police Report, First Responder Show.
You're listening to Awesome Radio, WECU 107.5 FM, 1570 AM. Christian media with the spirit of excellence.
Let's keep it 100. You see my bank account? Whoever gets elected ain't doing nothing about none of that.
Remember when those cops had your son jammed up on some nonsense?
That had me shook. That judge down there, at the courthouse worked it out.
She got voted in by people like us. Well, people like me, because you don't vote.
I keep seeing all these ads about the presidential election. I don't even really think about voting for judges.
So you're voting, right?
All right, I get it.
All that complaining. Sound like my wife.
Why are you over here talking about me again?
My fault, baby. Vote down the ballot and early, October 17th through November 2nd, or on Election Day, November 5th. Learn more at advancedcarolina.org/on-the-ballot.
Paid for by Advanced North Carolina and not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
This is Viewpoints with Kirby Anderson.
Yesterday, I talked about the book on free speech by Jonathan Turley, professor of law at George Washington University. Today, I'd like to talk about a recent column where he documents the left's assault on the Constitution. Now, the reason for his article and many other articles about the Constitution is due to a New York Times article that had the title, "America's Constitution is Sacred, Is It Also Dangerous?" Lathan Watts writes, "Our Constitution isn't dangerous, but our ignorance of it is." Jerry Newcomb responds by asking, is the Constitution really dangerous? The purpose of Jonathan Turley's column is to show that the disdain towards the Constitution in one New York Times article goes far beyond that one article. The assault on the Constitution involves more than court packing and is targeted on the freedom of speech. He quotes a UC Berkeley law professor who has written, "No Democracy Lasts Forever, How the Constitution Threatens the United States." An editor of The Nation magazine calls the Constitution trash and urges the abolition of the U.S. Senate. A law professor at Georgetown Law School complains that Americans are slaves to the Constitution. The article in the New York Times repeats similar comments and scoffs at what the author calls constitutional worship. She writes, "Americans have long assumed that the Constitution could save us. A growing chorus now wonders whether we need to be saved from it." And I might mention a previous New York Times op-ed by two law professors from Harvard and Yale who argued the Constitution is broken and should not be reclaimed. These are just a few of the quotes provided by Jonathan Turley. They remind us that it is time to defend the Constitution. I'm Kirby Anderson, and that's my point of view.
For a free copy of Kirby's booklet, A Biblical View on Critical Race Theory, go to viewpoints.info/CRT.
Silver Sisters United presents Senior Women's Fellowship Brunch, Saturday, October 26, 12 noon to 2 p.m. at A Touch of God's Presence Ministry, 1300 Dickinson Avenue, Greenville, with our very own host, Mother Barbara Mitchell. The theme for this brunch is Where Are Your Weights? Senior Women's Fellowship Brunch, presented by Silver Sisters United at A Touch of God's Presence Ministries, 1300 Dickinson Avenue, Greenville. Saturday, October 26, 12 noon to 2 p.m. For more information, dial 252-695-9007. That's 252-695-9007. Or visit the website, atouchofgodspresence.org.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Police Report First Responder Show here on Awesome Radio, 107.5 FM, 1570 AM. And please do not forget, we have our sister station, Rocky Mount 100.3, Smooth Radio. Also, we still have the 106.9 of WPIS LP, which is Spanish media, Christian media. So please keep that in mind. Also, do not forget that we have the various apps on the App Store, Amazon Alexa, Roku TV, and what's that other one again? I forgot what it was. I did say the App Store. Google Play. That's the one I'm looking for. Google Play. How could I forget that? Anyway, I want to go back to frequently asked questions. This one is very important because I also have heard this, but I know the answer without even looking at the document. That is, sometimes I hear Sheriff's Office, sometimes I hear Sheriff's Department. Which is right? The correct answer is Sheriff's Office. And in a nutshell, it's because the sheriff holds an elected position, elected office. So therefore, it is an office. If she was appointed, it would be a department. That applies to any government position where the person had to run for office. So rather, for instance, like a senator, the senator's office, not the senator's department, or the attorney general. The attorney general has an office because he's elected and not appointed. So there's no attorney general department. There's an attorney office of the attorney general, so on and so forth. For example, we have a governor's office and the office of attorney general. Senators, state representatives have offices, and the sheriffs also have offices. As I mentioned, that's because individuals who are elected hold an office, whereas individuals who have been appointed, they have a department. Mohammed?
In the government, the term department typically means a subordinate unit of a government body that is established to do a type of business. For example, Pitt County government has established a human resources department to handle the vital task of managing the HR needs of the county government. They have also established a finance department to handle all finance-related matters. For the county. The county government. Government bodies usually have many different departments to handle the many aspects of government. They are staffed to appointed employees. These departments are internal divisions within the county government to make operation more substructed and efficient.
You know what I just saw, and I don't think I copied all of it, but it says, one of the questions was, what laws apply to all-terrain vehicles, ATVs, and do you have any tips for parents. And I think I left the rest of it blank, so I do apologize for that. But like I said previously, should you desire any of these documents, please don't hesitate to email me directly at glennjohnsonshow@gmail.com. That's Glenn with two N's, glennjohnsonshow@gmail.com. I'll make sure I forward the documents to you. Mohammed.
Well, the Pitt County Greenville Crime Stoppers are partners with the Pirates nonprofit organization Pitt Greenville Crime to involve citizens and preventing crimes. Citizens can contact Crime Stoppers to make anonymous tips involving unsolved crimes, wanted person, missing person, and people who are committing crimes such as breaking into homes and selling drugs. These tips can turn into cash rewards. No identities required. There is even a Campus Crime Stoppers program that deals specifically with school-based crimes. All calls go to the contract head out of state call center to assure complete anonymously. Calls are entered into a software system, and caller is given a login, username, and password so they can follow up later at any time. Your identity will be safe.
Right. One thing I want to point out about that is when you read the first paragraph, there was two key words: solving and preventing crimes. These are two key words everybody should adhere to. So you can help us by solving or preventing crimes from even occurring to begin with. I know they say there's a term people like to use: snitches get stitches. Yeah, but stitches get to go home for Christmas. You know, because them 30 years they're going to give you ain't going nowhere. But so think about that. If you see something, say something. Make everybody safe. I don't believe in that whole stitches get stitches. If you do something with me, we got court, not you. We got court. Because I'm telling everything I know. But I'm not a part of the criminal. I don't think I'm doing anything anyway, but I just want to point out those two key words: solving and preventing. Help solve or prevent crime from occurring in the first place. Mohammed.
Tips directly leads to arrest or recovery of stolen property may be eligible for a cash reward. Even the rewards process is fully anonymous using a computerized system. You have 3 ways to make a Crime Stopper tips. Call the tip line at 252-758-7777 to speak to a live operator, or 2, go online to www.crimestoppers.org. And 3, use P3 Tips smartphone app available to your app store and at the Crime Stoppers website.
Yeah, and I wish Sergeant now that was here. He had to take care of an emergency today, but he would have gave you some details on the amount of monetary amount so far they have distributed to people who have gave anonymous tips. It was a large amount of money that the sheriff's office handed out for people calling in, making anonymous tips. So I wish he was here to share that information with our listening audience. Mohammed.
Also, if you receive something like if someone tries to scam you and hack into your social media accounts, it will send you an email and notifications of the location and the device of where it's coming from. You can easily send it to. You can set those examples as anonymous of where those scammers are, and that way they can see what they can do to find out where it takes place. Because if they're in the same place and someone but different account, that might mean they'll be able to come after that scammer and walk up their doors. Remember, they won't find out who you are, but anything can help to stop scammers from gaining access to your device and probably harm you or in other ways.
That's right. You see, ladies, safety in all aspects is of the essence, not only from your computer to a lot of different stuff. Muhammad joined me on my show last week. We were doing a show on security questions and answers because if you ever notice, a lot of times you go to, like, if you create an email or a password for your bank account, the security questions are almost identical.
Yes, sir.
What's your mother's maiden name? What street did you grow up on? What high school did you attend? All that stuff. You have to be leery and mindful. Somebody start asking you questions like that out of the ordinary. You just got to ask them, hey, wait a minute. Are you trying to reset my password somewhere? Because you just can't give out that information anymore. Muhammad.
The scammers would do anything to make scammers are and hackers are two different things, but they have one thing in common. They want money and they want to steal people's identity to steal their benefits. They don't care who they hurt as long as they help themselves. Besides, there's one important weapon out there. It's called money. They want money to take briberies, anything they can do to help them get by or to make themselves wealthy. So they don't have to work for a while. But there's a lot of people who have money, but they do things to do illegal stuff like drugs or maybe getting money from illegal ways or turn a blind eye to like briberies and stuff like that.
Yeah, and remember last week we were talking about one person that was running for office, how she got her email hacked because the majority of the information they received on her, they got off her social media Facebook page. She had where she met her husband, her date of birth was on there, so on and so forth. So you have to be leery and mindful of the information that you have on your social media pages.
Speaking of social media pages, I got an email spam saying that someone another device got into my Twitter account, but when I looked in the session, there's no other devices that's logged in, so that's just a spam. So that means it's always not legit. So take that for example. But if you want to be cautious, you can always change your password. So once you change your password on your personal device, it will automatically log out from any other devices, so no one can easily log into your device without you knowing until they know the real password.
Yeah, because one thing I stopped doing is leaving accounts open with my email or with my email and a password attached to it. Sometimes I used to leave them open, but now I make sure everything's closed out. But Muhammad, I'm going to ask you this question. I've seen this about 3 times over the past couple of weeks. I've been getting text messages or emails about something saying that your Amazon ordered the prior approval to process to continue the process before it's shipped. I'm like, I haven't ordered anything from Amazon.
That's a scam, actually. They're trying to get your like card number or social security number, anything that helps them to get what they want. Scammers are tricky, but they like to try to pull a fast one on you. They even try to impersonate themselves as an FBI, trying to scare you to give them your information. So don't believe everything they say. If it's something products that you never make purchase, just completely block that number because you don't want to believe it.
Although this is convenient, another thing I noticed that I really wish they would change is if you go to use your credit card at a convenience store, any kind of store, it could be a service station. You don't have to swipe your card. You just hold it up because it has that symbol.
To tap it instead.
To tap it, you just tap it. But one thing I noticed, now I don't ask for no password. You just tap it, it approves, it goes through, process approved. But that doesn't ask for a password or anything. So somebody can just run around your card with your card, tapping it all over the place.
Yes, they can easily. It's stressful because especially since it's security. If someone stole your card without you noticing, you wouldn't be able to know if someone is using it until it's too late, and you wouldn't even know where it's look. There's also times like this. There's a difference between credit card and debit card. When I use my debit card, it requires my PIN number. But when I use credit card, it just approves it, just like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The debit card is one thing. The debit card will ask for your PIN number. Whereas a credit card, you can just swipe it and it says approved.
They just made it faulty. They They just made some error to make that happen.
And but see, that actually happened to me a couple years ago. I had left my wallet on the front seat of my truck, and when somebody called me, I would say I'm on my way home. So since I was on my own, she said, "Why would you mind if I come over there and meet you?" I said, "Yeah, I mind because I'm in the process of doing some stuff." So I hung up the phone. So as I'm still driving home, she called me back. "Why don't you come meet me at my apartment?" So I did go to her apartment to meet her, just to have a brief conversation. Before I got to her apartment, she was already outside, just hopped in the front seat of my truck, passenger seat of my truck. When she got out, my wallet also got out because it was on the front seat, passenger seat. And then I got a call from my bank. This was as soon as I got home. "Mr. Johnson, do you have your debit credit card with you?" I said, "Yeah." "My wallet's on the front seat of my car, my truck. I just came out of Walmart. Let me go to get it." When I got to the truck, I noticed it was gone. So she had to have it. And you know what? I got in touch with Greenville PD. They had her on camera using my card all over the Greenville. Make a long story short, the district attorney's office called me. They said they had the case and what I wanted to proceed. I said, "Well, as a former law enforcement officer, I do not want her to go to jail because all she's going to do is go to jail, sit up in there and learn other tactics to do other stuff to other people." I thought so. I assume that she has a drug problem or something because she wouldn't have did that, which she did. She said, "You're right, Mr. Johnson." So therefore, they sent her to a long-term inpatient treatment facility in Texas, from Pitt County to Texas. And to my knowledge, she's still there to this day. That happened about 2 years ago.
That's a bit intense. But you gotta learn your lesson. You guys can't get it. You can't decide. There's an easy way to make money or the hard way.
Yeah.
Stealing money is not gonna last long. Besides, you're gonna get caught eventually. And besides, it only lasts for a short time, and you'll just get caught, and you'll be regretting it ever since.
Mama, let me ask you a question because we got 3 minutes to go before we get today's broadcast. I remember I mentioned about the DLL. If you can formulate information on that, we can have a topic, probably not on the police report show. Probably I'll have you on my show again. And also, is it still, since they have Microsoft Windows, could you still write a code or a script to make your own software with MS-DOS? MS-DOS is the actual language that the computer uses. For all those that don't know, MS-DOS means Microsoft Disk Operating System. That's the language of the computer. So you write your own codes and scripts to create your own software. I want to know if they still have that capability since everything is Microsoft Windows now.
Maybe.
Maybe, right?
Maybe. It's hard to say for sure.
I was just curious about that because they have Microsoft Windows. So why would you need to create your own software when you said open a Microsoft Windows Office or things like that? I'm just curious about that.
I'd say not everything's legit these days. I mean, think about it. I mean, like, have you ever received product that they say it's legit, but it turns out to be a scam? How do we know that that's not either? Besides, in my opinion, I have a hard time trusting people. Well, actually, so if they want to earn my trust, I'm gonna have to see demonstration. There's a difference between demonstration and presentation. Presentation just shows off like images and details, but demonstration, you have to show proof in person to show if it's legit. If it's not legit, it's not expectation like what you saw in the presentation. That means it's just a con.
I'm glad you said that because there is a difference between presentation and a demonstration. That is absolutely correct. I'm glad you mentioned that. When I get home, I'm going to go back and watch this so I can remember that, write it down, take some notes. Thank you, Mohammed.
You're welcome.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we have 1.5 minutes before we go to sign off for the day for the police report first responder. So I just want to mention briefly, should you need any of the documentation that we mentioned today, particularly the non-emergency contact information, please email me. I will email you the full list so you have it readily available in the case of a non-emergency. My email address is Glenn, Glenn, Johnson Show @gmail.com. With the remaining 1 minute, I'll get it to Mohammed.
Advice: remember, if someone try to offer you some product and they say it's legit, make sure you be in person and tell them demand demonstration, not presentation, because Words is ill, it can easily deceive others. Demonstration is proof. You need proof to show if it's legit. Think about it. There's a lot of people like some sort of hair product that helps you grow your hair fast, but that's not always the case. Everybody wants money, but they are always it's a scam. So if they, like I said, could easily edit it, or I mean, I've seen a lot of product videos, but every time it looks like more like it was edited, so it's always not legit these days.
So you want a demonstration in lieu of a presentation.
Exactly, because presentation can also be a fake. They can easily edit it.
Well, thank you so very much for mentioning that. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another broadcast of the Police Report First Responder Show. Please tune in to Awesome Radio 107.5 FM next month for another broadcast. Thank you very much for tuning in. God bless you all. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Tracy, and you're listening to Awesome Radio.